Boom. Alright, what's up you guys? It's Roy, it's Jacob. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to talk to you about why I believe the current technical and fundamental patterns that we're seeing in Decentraland and Sandbox remind me a lot of those same patterns that we saw in Bitcoin and Ethereum back in early 2017. Now, right off the bat, I feel it's important to address the fact that I personally bought my first chunk of Ethereum all the way back here in March of 2017 around 36 bucks. Okay, so trust me when I say I know the feeling of hype cycles, especially when it comes to new and revolutionary and exciting macro trends like the metaverse. I do think Mana and Sand are going to be to this metaverse trend of 2021 and 2022 what Ether and Bitcoin were to the original cryptocurrency trend of 2017 and 2018. Okay. And I also want to say that the chart we're looking at here is Ethereum in 2017 to its high in January of 2018, okay? So this is going over the span of about a year. And I know there's a lot going on here. And I also want to say right off the bat that although there's a lot going on, and things look very specific on this chart, there's a lot of numbers happening, I do want to say that I'm not going to be trying to make any specific price targets, okay? When you're trying to determine fair value, I've been saying this in the past few videos, you can't just go by price, okay? You can't just say, oh, Mana is going to get to $1,400 in the span of a year or so, because Ether went from around the same price at the beginning of 2017 to $1,400 by the end of the cycle, okay? You really have to factor in circulating supply and market cap, okay, which is why we also have coin market cap right here. So as we dive into this chart a little bit more, and I do compare this to what we're currently seeing in Mana and Sand, which we will of course be looking at on the charts as well, not only talking macro, talking long term, but talking short term as well, because the market's ripping right now. I just want to remind you guys that I will not be giving a direct price targets, because again, in these hype cycles, in such young trends, it feels like a fool's errand to me to try to give you guys specific price targets and stuff. But once again, I will try to rationalize my thoughts for you. You know I do these videos in one take, so I'll do my best not to stumble around and keep it short, sweet, and to the point for you guys. But the chart we're looking at in front of us, I will just let you guys know that this is more of just food for thought, okay? And this is something you guys can reference. I encourage you guys to screenshot if you want to, share it with your friends, do whatever you want. But just to let you know how hype cycles work, because once again, Bitcoin and Ethereum, the OG cryptocurrencies. Mana and Sand are now the OG metaverse currencies. And that's why I believe, the more and more I think about it, that these have so much upside potential. I'll probably put in the title, these things can 10x from here. I know I said the same thing in my original video on the two that on Decentraland that I posted just before Halloween of this year, and I said they could 10x. They're floating around $1 at the time, okay? So now a $10 Mana, a $10 Sand seems almost inevitable to me, but 10x from here, 15x from here, can we get to 40, 50, even triple digits? Can we get to 100 bucks? I think it's very likely, and again, I'll do my best to rationalize and kind of justify these thoughts for you. But once again, just know you guys, this is just food for thought. This is just my opinion. So you do with this information what you will, and again, just think about it as a hype cycle, okay? This trend is still very young. We will zoom out here, and again, it's important to slow down when times are going so fast, because again, right now, I know a lot of you hold Mana, I know a lot of you hold Sand, you're printing money, it feels great, it can be hard to slow down and think rationally, but when you're dealing, once again, with a trend like the metaverse, this is the next big trend, guys, trust me, it's important to zoom out and really keep your eyes on the prize and slow down and think rationally, okay? Keep a cool head in the hot water, okay? So we will dive into the charts, you guys. Once again, have coin market cap right here. We will reference, obviously, the market caps of these, because when determining upside price targets, I think market cap is what makes the most sense if you're trying to justify and rationalize the valuation. Again, it's not about the token price itself. It's about the overall market cap of the underlying asset, okay? So we'll take a look at market caps, compare Decentraland to Sandbox. Once again, we can also compare those market caps to those of the top 10 cryptos, just to kind of put things in perspective, and that's that. But to kick it off, do want to read for you guys the excerpt I wrote on Sandbox and Decentraland in this morning's newsletter. So let's just get straight into that, and then we'll dive into the good stuff, okay? So another day, another candle of confirmation that the second wave is here. Feels good, fam. At the time of writing, Sand up 22%, Mana up 14%, way more than that at the time of recording. You'll love to see it. Love when it times out like that. While some of the largest names in the crypto market are down 4 to 5%. There's always a bull market somewhere, and we chose right, guys. Cheers. So if you guys are holding Sand, Mana, let me know down below. Cheers to you guys. Once capital or US dollars enters the crypto market, it's rare for that capital to be converted back into dollars. Therefore, when Ether, for example, is falling, that capital will want to find a more promising home. In this case, it's the metaverse sector of the market. This metaverse trend overall is still young, and the second wave, which is going to be a tsunami, you guys know that, that we're experiencing definitely has more room to run in my eyes. Sand has a hype advantage over Mana right now, and I think that will persist until upside targets are acquired. My guess is that we see another move up to reclaim that channel. We'll talk about we'll talk about this once we dive in. But that said, I believe once targets are hit on Sand, Mana will begin to play some catch up. I'll let you guys know how to play this over the coming days. Let's go, team. So again, little celebration. It's important to celebrate as well when you make a good play. This is always deserved, you guys, especially in the wake of the rest of the crypto market selling off. Again, you guys, that capital wants to find a new home. This not only applies to the crypto markets, but to the equity markets as well. So these are just first principles that you guys should keep at top of mind when you're investing. You guys know the drill. If you guys do want one of these bad boys in your email inbox every trading day during market hours, if you want a complete breakdown of my personal portfolio, it's the holiday season, you guys. And although the holiday season is popping for the Waves fam, we thrive in these volatile markets, we thrive in these hyper growth markets. It's also time to travel, so I will probably be traveling a lot over the next month or so. Just want to let you guys know that I will do my best to pump out videos when I'm on the road, but I will guarantee that I will send out a newsletter and portfolio update. Hop in the Discord every single trading day to talk to you guys, catch up with you guys, and just let you guys know what's up, because that is my duty to paying subscribers. So if you want to know exactly how I'm trading, why I'm trading the way I'm trading, what my personal portfolio looks like to a T, $15 a month, $40 every 3 months. That's the first link down in the description. Again, holiday season, good times, but also family time. So just try to stick with me here. I hope you guys all have a little extra money for those Christmas presents. Just throw that out. Again, Waves Discord, great times in the Discord. You can catch up with me there. Hop in here every trading day, give you guys updates in the announcement tab and whatnot. So just shout out there, YouTube 25 for $25 off that. Let's get into this, okay, you guys? So again, I was super pumped to make this video, and I did prep it, but it's just there's so much going on in my mind that I'll do my best once again to break this down in a digestible manner. So again, forgive me if I'm hopping around, but I will do my best, okay? So that's all I can do. Mana, let's just address the fact that the second wave has officially been initiated, and we will close out the video by talking more short-term price action, okay? But let's get to the meat of this video and talk about where I see this thing going in terms of multiples, okay? So let's dive here. Ethereum, again, there's a lot of bars going on here, and to explain these two bars, the horizontal bars you can see here are date ranges, okay? So that shows, and we're on the daily candles. So each bar, 322 bars, is 322 days. These are daily candles right here. This is the amount of time that the cycle lasted. So let's zoom in. Let's go back to the initial pop, kind of what I think we're experiencing in Mana and Sandbox right now, and then we'll kind of zoom out. And I'll talk to you guys about how I see this playing out. Because once again, remember, it doesn't make sense to compare the token price of Mana right now, of Sand to Ethereum, because the circulating supply on these assets is very, very different. There's a lot less Ethereum in supply than Mana, okay? So that's important to keep in mind before going any further. Anyway, the first jump up we saw, again, you could say right here in early March when Ethereum, beginning of March, Ethereum was at $15. It's crazy. Boom, Ethereum popped off to a high of $54, which when you think about it is nothing. When we zoom out like this, the move from 15 to $50 is insane, but it's also nothing when you think about where Ethereum ended up going just by the end of that year and where it's at now at over $4,000. And we've seen a correction over the past couple days, okay? So regardless, this first cycle, okay, from right here, let's just say, let's not even count that, okay? I do want to count this one right here from this high in March of 17. Again, $50. I remember specifically on this pullback right here, right around this area, like $36. Might be 38, something like that, but just that ballpark. Anyway, and I've held a lot ever since, and that's diamond hands pay off. And that, again, when you're dealing with cycles this early, you guys, my game is spotting hyper growth, revolutionary trends, and this metaverse trend is like the most obvious spot that I can recall seeing since Bitcoin and Ethereum. I've been saying that since we started talking about it, and I still feel the same way. And the more I talk about it, and the more I think about it, and the more I digest the reality and gravity of what's going on in this market right now, the more I can justify and rationalize that statement, okay? So Ethereum for the example, because Ethereum reminds me a lot more of these. Also king of the alt, so that makes more sense as well. Very tech-based. So anyway, even if you're taking the first high right here in March of 2017, that really ignited this rally, went sideways for a while, but you can say this rally right here since the high that we saw in March of 17 at 50 bucks. And we'll just do this for easy math right here. 50 bucks to a high of 400 and just under $420, nice, by June of that year. So that lasted from this high, from the initial high in March of 17 to this high right here in June of 17, exactly a few months. So that was, boom, right here, that was 87 days, okay, or just under 3 months. So this lasted about 3 months, and that's just for the time being. We will make more follow-up videos on this. For the time being, I do think you could say from the first rally that we saw just before Halloween, you can expect this rally to end completely in about 3 months, okay? This is the first wave of the rally. But after that, after the hype started to slow down, you can see here that we definitely fell off a cliff and went into a capitulation phase again. This was the first wave of this two-wave cycle, and this is a lot more, again, this is a lot more zoomed out. The same two-wave theory, though. The two-wave theory, it's fractal. It works it works in the span of a week or two, and the same thing, again, it's fractal. It applies in the span of a year as well, and maybe even in the span of a couple years, okay? So anyway, from this initial high to the local high, or to that kind of shorter term, medium term high, was 87 days. That represented a price appreciation from this base here. So this is the base of 18 bucks, 20 bucks. You know what, for the sake of this conversation, let's just do it around here at 50. That was a 675, almost 700% price increase, okay? So again, you guys, when we're talking about these short-term price targets, and when we jump into mana and stuff, okay, just taking the low from the base of this rally that we saw happen, again, right after we posted that initial video, to the high that we saw just a couple of days later, you take that percentage gain, 365, multiply that right here. If the second wave matches that of the first wave in the short term, that would take us to about $11.50, okay? And once again, you guys, I'm saying specific price targets, but just keep in mind, this is a hype cycle. These markets are more irrational than I've ever seen. Even in 2017, things right now with NFTs, with everything going on in the equity markets, the money printing, the macro is crazy, the markets are crazy. So, I mean, maybe history will rhyme, but I don't think it'll repeat itself. Things could be way crazier. But again, we could be throwing a black swan as well, so just keep that in mind. That said, I remain bullish, and you guys know I'm holding bags of both mana and sand. So just looking at this, you guys, again, I'm not going to spend much more time on this. You guys get kind of the gist of what I'm going for here. So I'll just let you guys once again screenshot this. I encourage you guys to go into your charts for yourself. We'll close out with the fact that Ether, even from the high, we'll just say $100 for easy math, to the high of $1,400 over the course of that cycle, over the course of that again, 2017 to 2018. Over the course of over the course of not even 10 months, it wasn't even a year, we 14x'd for the purpose of this conversation. And do I think mana from here can 14x after the end of this second wave, this short-term wave? Mana, 14x from here, was that 74? Well, we'll get up to $74. No, that's terrible math. I'm discrediting myself. Sorry, $54. $54. 74 is my favorite number, but $54. Do I think a $54 mana is possible? I definitely do. Okay, I definitely think a $54 mana is possible. So again, you guys, the more I talk about specific price targets, the more I don't want to say specific price targets. Things can get crazy. Screenshot this for yourself, and just keep in mind that when we're in these hype cycles, when we're in these hype rallies, emotion comes into play. And that's why looking at historic charts that follow similar patterns, that kind of set the trend of these massive macro trends. Again, Bitcoin, Ether. If you look at Bitcoin, in like 2013, 2014, it looks a lot like Ether. If you look at Solana over the course of 2021, it looks a lot like Ethereum right here, okay? So these macro trends, when you're really dealing with a trend as, once again, significant and as young as the metaverse, it's just important to frame things in a way that you have to take psychology into account, because that's really what matters most when you're talking about hype cycles like this, okay? So I can't drill, I've said that over and over again, but I really can't drill in that point enough, okay? So look at historical charts like this. Again, feel free to screenshot this, do whatever you want with this. But again, this is more just food for thought, okay? God, I'm still, what a freaking idiot, okay? My job is looking at charts, okay? And doing basic second grade math. Anyway, when it comes to technicals, bull flags on bull flags, baby, you love to see. We had the first wave. The second wave is initiated. First wave, again, playing out like this bull flag, this multi-wave bull flag within itself. Parabolic move up followed by a descending triangle. The strong base is always a sign of just strength. You see there's not much selling. Once we get to this base, that's why bull flags and the two wave, when we find that grounds, when we find that level of support is so important, because once we get to that level of support, that floor, there's a lot more buying pressure than selling pressure, okay? And we finally broke out of the bull flag just at the beginning of this month, or just a week or so ago. And since then, we have printed a small bull flag, broke below it for a little bit, but now we are seeing the second wave of that second wave, okay? Of that mini bull flag out of the big bull flag. So, short term, where do I think Mana can go? The same price target applies here. I do think that's, again, just ballparking it, you guys. The first wave, in terms of percentage gain, can be reflected to some extent in the second wave. So when it comes to the second wave, boom, 365% up from the base of the second wave would be $11.50. That wouldn't surprise me at all to see. Again, $14 wouldn't surprise me at all from here. 14x wouldn't surprise me from here. Man. Okay, let's move on to Sandbox, you guys. I'm pretty much just going to repeat everything that I've been saying over the past week or so. But again, you guys, it's hard to give specific price targets. I'm more trying to teach you first principles to apply to your investing style and your trading style, okay? So, Sandbox, I do think, is a little easier of a read in terms of the short term. I do still believe, I will say right off the bat, that Mana has more potential than Sandbox. When it comes to the short to medium term, the volume that we're seeing on Mana is still significantly greater. Sandbox is really picking up. We're seeing a lot of consistent volume here as well, but Mana is still the leader of the space, and I do think it will hold that position. It will take the reins for the foreseeable future. But that said, Sandbox just earlier today flipped it in a big way. And do I think Sandbox will see, maybe one day, if they continue to develop a little more, a significantly higher price, token price at least, than Mana? Can they catch up in terms of market cap? Because Mana is currently at a market cap of 7.5 billion. Sandbox is currently at a market cap of 4 billion. So it was just a couple days ago less than half the market cap of Decentraland. But again, you guys, catch up is being played. SoftBank did make an investment in Sandbox. There's a lot of fundamentals on the side for Sandbox, so just keep that in mind as well. And as I referenced in the beginning, when you're talking about a $7.5 billion market cap for Decentraland, again, in terms of kind of fair value and fair valuation, 7.5 billion. If we see a 10x from here, 10x, $40 for Decentraland. If we see a 10x, that would take us to a $75 billion market cap. And what's a $75 billion market cap? A $75 billion market cap is like Tether, and an important way to view Mana as well, and Sand, as I mentioned in the beginning, is these are currencies. These are currencies that are native to this metaverse trend, okay? These are currencies within their own realms, which is a crazy way to think about it, and we'll see if it plays out that way, but it makes sense to me that these aren't just cryptos, okay? These aren't cryptos for the real world. Ethereum is like oil, so you need Ether to run the development or the projects that you're running on the Ethereum blockchain. That does make it valuable for sure, and I don't think that we'll see Decentraland reach the market cap of Ethereum, definitely not surpass Ethereum in the near future. But can we see a $75 billion market cap for like the first digitally native currency of the metaverse? I think that's very, very possible. When you look, I don't have the stat off the top of my head, but when you look at like the global GDP, how much money and currency is in circulation just in general, you can definitely justify some crazy numbers and some, like, hey, maybe even one day $1 trillion market cap for $1 trillion market cap for something like Mana. I mean, Bitcoin's at $1 trillion. Why can't the first native digital currency of the metaverse be worth $1 trillion as well? So again, just ballparking ideas here, you guys. You can tell by the way this is going that is the case. But I remain bullish, and again, this is just a new frontier that is what excites me so much. Okay, again, like I said, crypto, what cryptocurrency was, what Bitcoin and Ether were to crypto, Decentraland and Sandbox are to the metaverse, okay? And that's why I'm so excited about this trend, not only from a short-term perspective, but from a long-term perspective as well. So, little tangent there, but I had to throw that in because I realized I forgot it. Sandbox, when it comes to short-term price action, I do think it can reclaim this channel right here. I mentioned that kind of in the intro, so that's why I didn't mind putting it off. Sandbox, I do think this trend can be reclaimed in the short term. I do think that this previous line of support will act as new resistance once again. November 20th, that's probably, I mean, by the time you guys are watching this, you could be watching this by then. So let's see if we can see Sandbox. The momentum's here, the volume's here, everything, all the stars are aligning. Can reach $6.5, $7 over the next few days. But again, you guys, I wouldn't worry about the short-term price action because the long-term prospects of both of these projects are just so damn exciting. Okay, so we'll call it there, you guys. Was doing my best to rationalize that, but I just had too much thoughts in my head to properly articulate. Forgive me for that, but I hope you enjoyed this episode, you guys. Let me know in the comments down below if you were excited for where Mana and Sand are going to be going in the near future, the medium-term future, and the long-term future. Give me, you guys, your long-term price targets. Short-term price targets don't interest me as much because, again, we're getting into blue sky territory. So short-term price targets don't matter, but let me know what market cap you can see Decentraland and Sandbox getting to over time, and hey, what your token price target as well is. Okay, so I'll see you guys downstairs in the comments. Until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.